Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav and you can find all my work on my website automationstepbystep.com. In this session, I'm going to go very basic step by step and we are going to start our first TypeScript program. So let us see step number 1. We have to create a new folder and open it in Visual Studio Code or any other editor you are using. In the earlier session, we have already set up all the environment required for TypeScript programming. So I'm going to go to my Visual Studio Code. I'm on Windows, but this will work the same way if you are on Mac or any other operating system. And also in the earlier session, we had created a folder and have installed TypeScript locally. So here is my folder which is already open. I can also open this in the Finder or the folder. So you can see this is my folder. Now you can see the node modules and package.json files because as in the earlier session, I had created a node project and have added TypeScript locally. But if you have installed TypeScript globally, you can just start creating a new file inside your folder. So now I will create a new file, and for that, let me create a new folder. In the last session, I created this test folder and basics.ts, but I believe it got created under the node modules. So let me just go here under node modules. I will remove this test folder. I will delete from here and I will go to the main folder, that is the TypeScript, and create a new folder here. And I will call this as test, and it is now here. And inside this test folder, I'm going to create a new file. So this is step number 2. I will create a new file called basics.ts. The file name can be anything, but the extension should be ts for TypeScript. So I will create a new file here and I will call this as basics.ts and hit enter, and the file is created here. Step number 3 is I will write the code. So in TypeScript, to create or declare any variable, we say let. So I will say let and I will give a variable name, let's say name, and within single quotes I'm going to give the value. So I will give my name here, and you can use a semicolon at the end, or even if you do not use it, that is optional. Then I will say console.log. This is to print on the console, and I will say I will use the backtick key, double backtick key, and this is the key just below your escape key, and here I will say hello, and to refer the variable name I will say dollar, and in curly brackets I will give the value, that is the name of the variable, that is name. Now in case you are not doing the reference like this, you can also use single quotes instead of the backtick key that I have used here, but because I am referencing I will have to use the backtick key. And I'm getting some errors here. So if you see here in the name variable, if I hover over, it says cannot declare block scoped variable name, and it was also declared here. So what happens in TypeScript is it considers this to be a script and not a block, and to make it a block you can use export or import statements at the top. So as I write export here, you can see the error is gone and now this is a error free code. You can also just give the curly brackets like this. So now this is fine. We have created our first code. Step number 4 will be we have to open the terminal, and the shortcut is you can press Ctrl and backtick key. So you can just go from here and say new terminal, or just press Ctrl and backtick key. You can see the terminal has opened in the same folder that we are in, that is our project folder. Now here I will run the command tsc, that is TypeScript compiler, and the file name. So I can say here tsc, and because my file is inside the test folder, first I will have to go to test folder and then I will have to write the file name like basics.ts, or I can first navigate or change the directory to my test folder so that I do not have to write it again, and now I can directly say tsc and the file name, which is basics.ts. The extension .ts will be optional here. Even if you say basics, it should work, but let me just give the full name here and hit enter. Now here in my case, you can see it is saying TSC is not recognized because I have created a node project and I have installed TypeScript as a local package in this folder in this project. So for using the node module, that is TypeScript, I will have to use npx. So let me say here, I will say npx and then I will say tsc and the name of the file. In your case, if you have added TypeScript globally, you do not have to use npx. And if I hit enter, you will now see it will compile the TypeScript and it will create a JavaScript file. You can now see here it has created a JavaScript file with the same name, and you can see here if I go to my JavaScript file, let me just check again. I will save and I will compile again. And you can now see this is my JavaScript. You can also see some changes here. In TypeScript, I used let for declaring variables. The same has been converted to where in JavaScript, and you can see all these changes here. So we have also done step number 6, that is the JavaScript file is now created. Step number 7 is now we have to run our JavaScript file using the npm command. So now on the terminal I will say npm and I will say basics.js, that is our file name, and hit enter. And here let me check, looks like some issue. Let me see here, this should be node and basics.js. It should be node actually. Yes, there is a mistake in this slide here. This should be node. I will correct it in the notes. So just take note of this. This should be node and the file name, and you can now see here it is printing hello Raghav, whatever we had written in our program. So this is step number 7, and now we have already done this, adding a export statement at the top because we were getting the errors, which we have already done earlier. This is the export statement we have added. And then step number 9 is, if you see here, if I make any changes to my TypeScript, let us say instead of hello I say good morning. Now if I go and run my JavaScript file directly, you can see it is still saying hello Raghav. So I will again have to compile it and then I have to run the JavaScript file. But if I want the compilation step to take place every time there is a change, I can run this command tsc basics -- watch. So I will say, and of course I will have to use npx for running it locally. I will say tsc and the file name, that is basics and -- watch, and hit enter, and it will start compilation, and then this is done. Now if you see, if I make any changes and I will save, you will see it will auto detect and then start the compilation. And let me open another terminal, and here I will directly run the node and run the JavaScript file, and you can see it is saying hi Raghav. So this is now working fine. So these are the 9 steps, and in this session the important commands that we learned were tsc and the file name, the TypeScript file name. This is to compile the TypeScript code. Node and the compiled JavaScript file name to run the compiled JavaScript code, and then tsc and the file name and -- watch to compile the TypeScript file on every change. I hope this was very useful for you. Please do some more hands-on, and if you have any issues or any questions, do let me know. Please subscribe to my channel and never stop learning.